Hi, if you're planning a trip to Japan sometime soon, here are some travel tips to help you on your way. Remember, hotels in Japan are expensive, especially if you intend to travel during the cherry blossom season, especially in districts like Ginza, Shibuya, or even the Tokyo Central Station. Most of the hotel rooms are extremely small and it sometimes gets difficult to even open two suitcases at the same time. But it's done in a very compact and efficient manner which one slowly gets used to. Book your hotel rooms well in advance, especially if you're traveling during the cherry blossom season. The tariff of a 3-star hotel room in Ginza can start from $175 during the peak season. And as you get closer to the date, prices skyrocket. Generally, temples, shrines and parks are open 24/7 in Japan, so when you make your itinerary, plan to leave your hotel by 6 a.m. or earlier for the sightseeing. It's a great feeling, experiencing Japan early in the morning when the roads, trains, tourist spots are empty. Of course, one cannot complete, all sightseeings early morning, so resume during the day after breakfast and then experience the crowd, enjoy both aspects of Japan. Getting around in Japan is very easy. Before arriving in Japan, you can buy a JR pass at $340 for 7 days from your home country. This includes all the bullet trains, limited express and express trains, some buses operated by JR, the Narita Express, and the Tokyo monorail. What it does not include is the Tokyo Metro, the metros and local buses, Nizomi and Mizohu bullet trains, and the Yakushima ferry. Remember, JR Pass is recommended only if you are planning an extensive long-distance travel inside Japan. If your itinerary just has Tokyo to Kyoto and back, it is cheaper to buy the individual bullet train ticket. For commuting in Tokyo, the Suica or the Pasmo IC rechargeable cards is recommended. These are valid in all subways, buses, trains, and even in all convenience stores. Otherwise, you can always purchase your tickets at the stations from the automated ticket machines, which is very easy to navigate. In Kyoto, you could consider buying the 24-hour Kyoto Day Pass, which is valid in all subways and local buses. Buses are an extremely convenient way to travel in Kyoto. Taxis in Tokyo are not too expensive. It costs about $5 for the first 2 kilometers, and then for every additional kilometer, it costs you $2. The wait time is approximately $20 an hour. No matter what time of the day, taxis are very safe in Japan. The drivers are extremely helpful, very polite, and they go that extra distance to make sure that you reach your destination on time. Remember, tipping is not part of the culture in Japan. You may tip the taxi drivers if you'd like, but it's not really expected there. You're not even expected to tip waiters at restaurants or cafes. So that makes a really refreshing change. Silence is golden in the public transport in Japan. No one attends to any phone call in the subways, buses, trains, and if people do talk, they do so in a very soft voice, practically in whispers. There is actually pin-drop silence in the public transport, and it's really commendable considering the crowded trains and metros that one can experience there. In Japan, it is expected that you queue up at all platforms, ticketing counters of all subways, trains and bus stations, and sometimes even to get into a restaurant. Even with crazy crowds in big cities, everyone walks in a very orderly manner. The order in that chaos is most evident at the Shibuya crossing in Tokyo. In Tokyo, people generally stand or walk on the left side, while this changes at Kansai or in Osaka, where they stand or walk on the right side. Undoubtedly, the best time to visit Japan is the cherry blossom season. There are some great websites and apps which is available online to track the bloom status of the sakura. They actually mention the bloom status across all the parks, the cherry blossom sites in major cities like Kyoto, Tokyo, etc. Generally across Japan. The status is mentioned as yet to bloom, 25% bloom, 50% bloom, 75% bloom. Basis the actual status in the app, you can change your day itinerary and head out to places where bloom status was highest. If you're planning to head out to Japan for the first time, I highly recommend that you plan your travel during this season. When we landed into Tokyo in the third week of March, it was like any other world city. But once the sakura started blooming, it was a complete transformation of visual delight. If you love your sushis, tempuras, ramen, Japan is a haven for food connoisseurs. Many restaurants have fake models on display to scale and replica. They indicate the kind and portion of the food which helps in ordering. All plates are typically small, which we felt were to ensure appropriate portions and avoid wastage, which was truly appreciated. Food in general is expensive in Japan and is primarily seafood based. I particularly recommend you to experience the ramen street on the basement of the Tokyo Central Station. We are at the famous shop street where there are about 8 noodle shops, and we had to wait in the queue. We actually had to buy the food first, get the receipts, and then stand in queue. So everybody who comes to Tokyo comes to this street to have ramen. Very, very famous. There are of course convenience stores like 7-Eleven, Lawson and Family Mart that have ready-to-eat meals and sandwiches that are not as expensive and very convenient. The language barrier was a major problem in Japan earlier, but not so much now. After the Tokyo Olympics, I guess, all the major tourist attractions, the public transport areas have signs in English that makes it very easy for the tourists to navigate. Finally, our top 3 must-visit experiences in Japan. The Nara Prefecture, home of many emperor palaces and shrines, has an abundance of wild deer that roam freely throughout the region, also known as the bowing deer. The Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building projection mapping shows that run every night and is free to the public. And experience art without limits at the Team Lab Borderless in Tokyo's Azubadai Hills. It is the world's first digital art museum and is a must-do in Tokyo. So go ahead and plan your Japan trip and experience a country which is unique in its culture, people, and tradition.